Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. Our first conversation this morning is about Venezuelan cinema. And joining us in studio is His Excellency Álvaro Sánchez Cordero, the Venezuelan Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, buenos dias, and welcome.
Good morning, buenos dias, Natasha. Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about Venezuelan cinema. You're celebrating 128 years. What is that like?
Well, it's a major cultural milestone for us in Venezuela. More than 100 years, anything historical is impactful in Venezuela, especially in the field of arts. 128 years, it was in 1897 that the first ever Venezuelan film was screened in the city of Maracaibo. And ever since, we have gone a path throughout the years, the decades, of challenges, technological challenges, sociological, political challenges, and so on. But we have reached a point where we are at the moment, after 128 years, where we are producing the largest number of films in our history. We are at an average of 20 to 30 films a year, and this transformation practically happened for the past 20, 25 years. So it has been a process of growing in this kind of industry and business. But in the last 20, 25 years, not only we have increased the number of films, but also the type of films that we are making in Venezuela, where Venezuelan people can reflect more in what we watch. In the past, especially in the last decades of the 20th century, we were overexposed to Hollywood cinema.
Right.
And at the moment, we are exploring more into our arts, our culture, our history, our traditions, and therefore there is a more engagement between film productions and the Venezuelan people.
It's interesting that you say that, because we do see, of course, a great influence from other countries in the film industry in Latin America and the Caribbean as well. Since you have been working, I see you, of course, Venezuela, working towards this change, have you seen an increased interest from filmmakers?
In Venezuela,
in Venezuela.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, in terms of number, numerically speaking, there has been a major increase in terms of especially young filmmakers, and especially now that it's a lot easier to make films. Easier, it's always a challenge, it's always difficult and so on, but perhaps technology allows for more people to make cinema productions. So the number of people, number of Venezuelan filmmakers have increased, but also the quality. Many more are being exposed, for example, to films schools in Cuba. Many have learned in Cuba, as well as Europe, Argentina, other Latin American countries. And again, perhaps they have a more worldview, but always integrating that with our culture, history, and traditions.
Something that is so important, because film is what keeps our stories alive.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of that, you are celebrating, and we are celebrating with you at TTT, airing 3 films. Can you walk us through the different films that will be aired?
Oh, of course, yes. And by the way, thank you very much to TTT for allowing us to showcase our film production and celebrating the 120th anniversary of our cinema. The first film is an actual documentary film on Monday, the 27th of January at 9 p.m. It's called Arangol. It's about the life of one of our major football players in Venezuela, Juan Arango, who distinguished himself playing in Mexico, Spain, Germany, and a major talented and a persevering kind of person. It's a very interesting film that I highly recommend. The second one is on Tuesday, the 28th of January, and it's called Azu. It's a very powerful film. It's about an African princess who was enslaved and brought from Africa to Venezuela in the late 18th century. And the story goes into how the rest of the enslaved people in Venezuela follow her, because she had a royalty and a leadership kind of disposition, and led them into freedom. So it's a remarkable and powerful film. And the last one is on Wednesday, the 29th of January at 8:35 p.m. It's also a very interesting historical film about the life of Simón Bolívar, but it's not all his life. It's his life from 1815 to 1816, and this was the years when Bolívar, after he was defeated at the time, he actually found refuge and assistance in the Caribbean, both in Jamaica and Haiti. Perhaps not many people are aware, but we owe our independence to both countries, especially to Haiti. And Bolívar captured that, and after the assistance that he got in Haiti in 1815, 1816, he was able to command a liberation force, not only to liberate Venezuela, but practically half of South America.
Beautiful. Some wonderful stories, historical as well. So ways so we can learn, and of course Venezuelans can learn as well a little bit about their history. So one of the things you would have mentioned is we're seeing collaboration from the 1800s, of course. The relationships have been built for a long time with the Caribbean. Where do you see our relationships and collaboration in film in the next decade or even century?
Of course. And this is a very good question, because this is something that I mentioned to a few people, and I take this opportunity. Part of our transformation in cinema is that in 2006, it will be 20 years soon, we created what is called La Villa del Cine, the film village. It's a major compound that where films are produced, edited, all the work that is done around films is done in this magnificent state-of-the-art cinema production, and it's not only available for Venezuelan filmmakers, but it's actually available for filmmakers from throughout the region. Anytime that Trinidad and Tobago or other Caribbean or Latin Americans would like to explore and produce and participate, collaborate in terms of filmmaking in Venezuela, we're open for that. In fact, filmmakers from other countries have done that, and we welcome them, embrace them open-heartedly. Equally with Trinidad and Tobago production filmmakers, more than welcome to go to Venezuela and explore the possibilities of participating in activities at the Villa del Cine, and in collaboration with Venezuela, and doing co-productions. And this is something that we are actually looking forward and try to explore and engage filmmakers from the region to do.
Definitely a positive move, because of course collaboration is something that will foster growth of the industry.
Correct.
You're already at 120 years. We know a lot more is to come. So from this conversation we're having, it's clear that there is an investment in the arts in Venezuela.
Yes.
Is this something that you think is going to continue to grow and pour back into society?
Yes, that's an interesting question. We have gone through different challenges, especially these last few years. We are basically under a financial blockade by the United States, but nonetheless, the percentage of our budget going into social investment, including the arts and culture, has been maintained. We believe that there are many things in life that are very important, but no matter how difficult circumstances are, arts and culture need to remain high. This is the spirit of the people. There was a Spanish poet who used to say, if I'm ever in the streets, in the middle of the street begging for money or for food, don't just give me a bread, give me half a bread and a book. Garcia Lorca said that. I think this is remarkable, because no matter how materially you may be in need, the arts and culture need to go hand in hand, along with the material needs that any human being may need. And we truly believe that, and as I said, to respond to your question, I can assure you that in the years to come, not only our investment, but our interest in funding and educating the people in terms of arts and culture will be maintained.
Wonderful. Well, Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is an absolute pleasure. Es un placer.
Gracias.
And we are happy to air the films and looking forward to seeing more from Venezuela.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Thank you, TTT.
His Excellency Álvaro Sánchez Cordero here with us this morning discussing the 128th anniversary of cinema, Venezuelan cinema, that's going to be aired right here on TTT. Stay tuned. Your Friday edition of the Now Morning Show will be back in a moment.